What's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I am sitting here in Baltimore, Be More, which is a place where I just gave a speech today. And I spoke on the Black business mentality. And as I was in Baltimore speaking about Black owned businesses, Black wealth, and all the things that we need to know as a people, in order for us to get ahead, I did a little research on Black owned businesses. And I thought that I would give you some information about Black owned businesses that you may or may not know as we're on this important journey of building more businesses in our community. I thought I would share some of what I learned today, and I'm going to break some of this down for you. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt, hit the thumbs up button. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, because we are obsessed with putting our people at the front of the line, not at the back. And also, we only ask that you commit to one basic idea. The basic idea is B1. B1 means that we are Black first. It means that we are at the top of our own priority list. B1 means we solve our own problems before we go saving the world. B1 also means that we believe our children, B1 children, are going to lead the world in Black wealth and economics within the next 50 years. That's Project 2070. If you agree with this philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. Now, I see we got some crazy haters popping in already. Frankie J says, why ain't you speaking about Kelly Price? I can't believe it. Why aren't you speaking about Kelly Price? I hope you're not a hater, man. I'd hate to boot you out of here, Frankie, but I think Kelly Price is okay. I looked it up and I saw that Kelly Price was missing. Then I saw another story that said she ain't really missing. She just got COVID, which I hope that she gets better. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody to get sick, but I think Kelly Price is okay. So shout out to Kelly Price, and I hope that she's okay. And more importantly, I want you to be okay. So are you okay? If everybody's okay, type okay in the chat. Let me know if you're okay. Frankie J says I'm not crazy. I love you. Okay, well I love you too. I'm sorry, Frankie J. We treated you like a Black man. You were falsely accused of being a hater. So my apologies. My apologies. Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. I'm going to read some stuff to you about Black-owned businesses that I found in my research, and I thought this would be good information for those of you. How many of you have a Black-owned business? Give me a yes in the chat if you have a business. If you want to start a business, put one day in the chat. If you are happy with your job, type no. Just no, I don't have a Black-owned business. No, I do not want to ever have a Black-owned business. And I want people to know that being a Black business owner is not a requirement for being a Black wealth builder. Being a Black business owner and or a person that is being a Black entrepreneur is not the same as being a Black business owner, which is also not the same as being a Black wealth builder. Those are three different things. A Black wealth builder can be a person who doesn't own any business and is not an entrepreneur. A Black business owner does not have to be an entrepreneur. They can simply be a silent partner. They can put money into the business and let somebody else run the damn thing, right? So understand that a Black wealth builder is not the same as a Black business owner, which is not the same as a Black entrepreneur. So do you give me a yes in the chat if you follow what I'm saying? Because I made a statement. I don't think it was too complex, but you guys are intelligent Black people, so I'm sure you figured it out pretty quickly. So give me a yes if you follow what I'm saying. All right. Now, with that said, why am I up at night talking about this stuff? Um, you know, um, I'll tell you, I was inspired by Baltimore today. Oh my God. If you come to Baltimore, you'll be amazed because they built Black Wall Street in Baltimore. I don't know if y'all know that. Now I know in every city you've got your own little situations going on and stuff like that. And coming to Baltimore really recommitted me to going to as many cities as possible so I could really see what you guys have going on, because there's a lot happening out here that people don't know about. And I really wanted to come to Baltimore because there's a guy named Jabari Natur, who runs Reality Speaks, who's a great Black man. He's an originator. He's a guy that created a Black speaker circuit for people like, people that don't get mainstream attention, like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, brother Dick Gregory, I shaded him. The old Umar Johnson, before he became King Kong Consciousness, there was a very humble, very intelligent guy named Umar Johnson, and now he's changed a little bit, but hey, we love him anyway. It is what it is. Just people like that. When Tariq Nasheed's movies come out, Jabari is one of the first people to show new movies like Buck Breaking and Hidden Colors and stuff like that. And the community supports that. So Jabari invited me to come speak. He has a partner named Sundiata. Sundiata runs a barbershop called Eternal Reflections, if I'm not mistaken, or Reflections Eternal. I think it's called Reflections Eternal. Jabari's barbershop is called Conscious Heads. They're both master barbers. And I met a lot of great people in Baltimore. A sister named Dr. Ma'at, who was in Buck Breaking. She is a very smart sister, PhD in engineering. She's a PhD in engineering. And I mentioned these individuals, and there were others that I met, and I probably forgot a couple. Forgive me for doing that. But I will say this. What I really thought about when I was in Baltimore is I thought about how many smart Black people there are that Black people don't ever get to hear about because they're always promoting the dumbasses to you in the media. In the media, they love to promote dumb Black people. They love to promote Black people who can't spell their mama's name, Black people who are determined to get our kids hooked on drugs, who are determined to. They love to promote Black people who promote things like obesity and death to the community. With some Negro sitting up there with a bucket of chicken in one hand and a shotgun in the other, talking about I hate Black people. They'll promote that in a minute, but they won't promote the intelligent Black people that are out here. And I met a lot of intelligent Black people in Baltimore. And let me tell you, they took me down on 25th Street, where they have a full Black Wall Street set up, all the Black business owners that come out. And it was really like the best backyard barbecue you've ever seen. It's almost like remember that song? Remember when Dr. Dre did that song back in the day? Do 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 do. Y'all remember that? 1, 2, 3 until the fall. Y'all remember that? And then they were at the barbecue, and everybody was just feeling good and having a good time. Well, that's how I felt today when I was in Baltimore, walking down the street with all these Black-owned businesses that were just all up and down the block. Like literally, they took up 4 or 5 blocks, just took over all those blocks and set up their businesses. And I would encourage you to think about this, in your own city. You can do this in your own city. You don't have to wait for white people to build a business in your community, for there to be a business in your community. You don't have to wait for white people to give you an opportunity for you to have opportunities in your community. You don't have to wait for white people to open doors for you to have doors that you control, that you decide where you're going to open the door for another person. And so when I saw all that there, and I saw multiple generations, I saw grandparents, parents, children, the babies, all these people, this was a culture. This was inspiring to me because it was a culture, right? A Black business ownership is a culture. And I think a lot of people don't understand. It ain't about going to school and learning certain skills and all that. That's important, sure. But you have to also have your culture, because your culture shapes your values. If I don't value something, then why am I going to learn how to do it? If I don't value something, why am I going to try to be the best at it? If I don't value ownership, then why would I even try to ever learn how to own anything? Right? So your culture shapes your values, and your values shape what you put your time into learning. So if my values tell me that I want to learn how to be the best twerker on my block, then I'm going to spend time learning how to twerk. I'm going to twerk school and learn how to drop it like it's hot. If my values tell me that I want to learn how to be a thug and slang dope and all that, then I'm gonna spend my time learning, grams and ounces and keys and kilos and all this other stuff on how to be a dealer. If my values tell me that my number one objective as a Black person is to go out and beg a white man for a job, then I will, spend my life going out learning how to please white people, learning how to tickle a white man's balls so I can go get a good job. So values are everything. So what I saw today was I did not see Black business only. I saw Black culture. Do you understand what I'm saying? I see Black culture, and that's what inspired me about Baltimore. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Also, a reminder to everybody, in case you don't know, the Black Business School, you can get started for free. If you'd like to go over there and take a look right now, you can go to theblackbusinessschool.com. The URL's on the screen. And also, of course, you guys don't forget the All Black National Convention is happening at the end of October. That is the Black Brain Trust. That is where we're bringing together Black people who are solving problems for Black people. It is a family event. We're having speed dating. We're having speed networking. We're teaching folks how to start businesses. We're teaching them crypto. We're learning how to grow your own food. We've got a ton of people there that can teach you everything from how to have better relationships to how to get rich and all these other things that you're trying to do in your life, or at least financially independent. So feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com if you want to take a look. We're putting a lot of time into this. All right, so let me give you some stats about Black-owned businesses. This is from a site called Fundera. and they did some research on black-owned businesses. And I'm just going to read some of these stats to you so you can kind of know what the status of black-owned business is. Okay, number one, there are more than 2 million black-owned businesses in the United States. That's good. Hooray for black people. 2 million black-owned businesses. The largest black-owned business in the country is a company called Worldwide Technology. I think Worldwide Technology made about $2 billion last year, something like that, in 2016. Sorry. Number three, black-owned businesses generate 150.2 billion in gross revenue as recently as 2012. So this data is a little bit old. That number's probably gone up, but this is according to the Minority Business Development Agency. Those 2 million companies generated more than 150 billion in gross revenue, which is less than 1% of the 2 trillion in reported gross revenue nationwide. So black-owned businesses, even though you're 13% of the population, you generate less than 1% of the total business revenue in the United States. Let me see, 2 billion. To have 2 million companies produce 150 billion in revenue. I want to say that's about, is that $75,000 per business? Is that right? Per year? Did I get that number right? I think it's 2 billion, 250 billion. Yeah, 75,000 per, on average. Okay, it's not bad. Number four, the most popular category for black-owned businesses is healthcare. Healthcare. The most common type is healthcare. 32% of black business owners are in the healthcare industry. Other popular categories include repair and maintenance, personal and laundry services, advertising firms, and auto dealerships. So they didn't include businesses that sell shea butter and T-shirts, which that's got to be a large category. No disrespect, though. Shout out to my friends that sell their shea butter, because you need your shea butter. Let's see here. Next, number five. New York has the greatest number of black-owned businesses in the country. I'm not surprised. New Yorkers are some of the smartest, most ambitious people out here. One of my favorite cities in New York to visit is Brooklyn. The black people in Brooklyn have something special in the water. Like, they just really are super assertive. They believe what they believe. They're very intelligent, and they'll stand up for what they believe and actually get a lot of support. Whenever we go to Brooklyn, we tend to sell out, in our events there. And that's impressive to me, because we're pretty radical. We have a radical set of ideas. I'm a radical guy. And so when I go places and everybody shows up, that tells me that they're ready for the future. If you're stuck in the past, then I'm not your guy. If you stuck believing in white folks and the Democratic Party and get chasing jobs and all that, I'm not going to make fun of you, but that's not my thing. I'm not into that. I don't think that works. I think we've tried that for 100 years and it hasn't worked. Number six, Washington, D.C. has the highest ratio of black-owned businesses in the country, the highest ratio, okay? While New York had the highest number of black-owned businesses, the studies show that 28% of D.C.'s businesses are black-owned. Ooh, that's a good number. Giving it the highest percentage of black-owned businesses in the country. Georgia's second with 20%, while Maryland is third with 19%. Number seven, 70% of black business owners are happy with their business. So that's interesting. So 70% are happy with their business. And I think that's because being a business owner and being a job creator as opposed to a job seeker makes you happier in ways that have nothing to do with money. One of the things that people forget about business is that the best part is not making the money. The best part is having the freedom, where you ain't got a white man kicking you in the ass every day and disrespecting you and making you feel like you're less than. Racial discrimination within corporate America. Let me ask you all a question. Let me ask you a question. As you hit the thumbs up button, I'd like to ask you, give me a yes or no. Yes or no. How many of you have experienced some type of racism on the job? Give me a yes or no if you've ever experienced racism on your job. Yes or no. How many of you have ever experienced racism on the job? And Wilhelm, I will try to share the stats in the description of the video. So yes. Okay. G says yes. Amu, yes. I'm looking for a no. I want to see one person. I'm going to see how long it takes me to get to a no before I see one black person in here who has not experienced racism on the job. Now, mind you, if you're a white woman and somebody, looked at your booty too hard or whatever, you could charge them with rape and get them sent to prison and stuff. But if you're black and they do terrible things to you, they mistreat you because you're black, or you're a black man and you get fired on your day off, don't nobody care. Nobody wants to hear that. Well, okay, so I see, okay, in cut says never. Okay, so I see one no. Okay, well, so here's the deal. A lot of your racism that you experience on the job, there is no remedy for that. So a lot of black folks are tired of it. They're just exhausted with it. And and so being an entrepreneur, even if your business isn't making much money, the best part is not just the money. The best part is the freedom. the best part is getting your dignity back, right? And in fact, that was one of the reasons why, when the first one of the first things I ever created when I left Syracuse was something called the Black Wealth Boot Camp. A lot of you have gone through the boot camp, and it was basically designed to help those who wanted to get off the corporate plantation. Because in my own experience, I realized, okay, I got to get out of here, or I'm going to go crazy. Like, this place is literally going to make me insane, and these people are going to make me start acting out of character. So, long story short, that's what we all need to do. We all need to learn how to make sure we help our children avoid the misery that many of us have experienced, so that we can then find a way to get on with our lives. So, anyway, by the way, see, some of you are asking about the Black Wealth Boot Camp. If you want to find it or look at the recordings of the last boot camp, you can actually go to blackwealthbootcamp.com. That's blackwealthbootcamp.com. Feel free to go take a look. All right, so let me see if somebody says, Doc, you need to read what's going on. Yeah, Ronnie Reparations. I see that there is a troll in here that keeps typing the N word, and I'm trying my best to block him out. So if I can't get him out on the pages, then I will try another approach. So give me a yes if you're still able to see me and hear me. Okay. Well, I know you can't see me if you're on YouTube, but I know you can at least hear me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to ban him. I don't know exactly how to ban the person because for whatever reason, it's not letting me ban him. So give me a yes if you see that. Now, I wish there was a mod in here so I can get this person out of here. But anyway, I'll figure it out. So let's just keep going for right now. All right. So here's the next thing. Okay, so you can still hear me. Okay, good. All right, perfect. All right, so next on the list, 58% of Black business owners said that their business's financial health was at risk or distress during the pandemic. That's not a surprise. They said the pandemic had a huge impact on Black businesses' health. 58% of Black business owners report their business being in trouble, and just 27% of white businesses said the same. So 27% of white business owners were struggling during the pandemic. 58% of Black business owners are struggling during the pandemic. So that is, that's pretty terrible. And so let's see what else. But then again, what's the surprise, right? Black business owners tend to go through things that other people don't. No, number 9. This was surprising. It said less than 4% of startups are founded by Black women. So 4% of startups were started by Black women. But then here's the other thing that's interesting. 35% of Black business owners are women. So men own more Black-owned businesses than women do. And Black women are responsible for 4% of total startups, white, Black, and otherwise. And so that's what that number looks like. All right, next. Number 11, businesses owned by Black women earn significantly less than businesses run by other women. Although Black women are well represented among business owners, they earn disturbingly less money than other business owners. One study found that Black women-owned businesses earned an average of $24,000 in net revenue compared to $142,900 among all women-owned businesses. So that's a big gap. So white women earn about $116,000 per year more in their businesses than Black women. So that's pretty massive. It's pretty disturbing, and obviously it's something that it's yet another gap that you got to close, right? And these gaps always exist, and a lot of the gaps exist because there's just a funding gap. A lot of Black businesses can't get the economic support that they deserve, and that's something that that isn't, I don't think, going to be fixed anytime soon. But I do think that is something that for now, until white folks finally come to their senses, you're going to end up probably having to deal with that for a while, right? And it is what it is, and I think that there are ways around it. I don't think that this is an excuse, though, for us to not dig into the other types of capital that we have access to. Remember, capital is not just money. Capital is, you have a lot of cultural capital. You have a lot of human capital. You have a ton of capital as Black people that you can dig into that goes beyond just, how much money you have in your bank account. So do not get caught up in thinking that because you don't have money, you can't start businesses. In fact, really good entrepreneurs, from what I've seen, have the ability to start businesses with almost nothing. And I think that that's really important for you to kind of remember and hold on to, in the future. All right. So next, let me get a second here. I got this crazy troll in here. I'm trying to block out the troll. It's like a bot troll. It's real weird. And they're typing these crazy words and all these weird symbols. It's very strange. The internet's a weird place. All right. So next. Yeah, I know I see that, Joseph. I don't know what it is, man. This is ridiculous. It makes me, what it makes me wonder about. If anybody follows me on Instagram, by the way, my Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. You'll notice that whenever I post anything, especially anything that's financial, a lot of times the bots will come right in. Like there'll be a ton of bots in there, just throwing a bunch of crap in there. And I wonder if like I think somebody mentioned that was a strategy. That was like a COINTELPRO type thing. Now, is that true or not? I don't know. But I do know if you look at the history of COINTELPRO, they tend to step in when you find something that is actually effective or when something's happening that's actually creating a real movement in the Black community. And I think this is a real movement. When I was walking up and down the street in Baltimore, I met so many people who on Black Wall Street who were saying that they started their businesses because of things that we're doing on this platform. And that made me really proud. I was really excited to see that and to just know that I was able to help people, and to see our people really reaching our potential and becoming who we're meant to be. And I really congratulate everybody who's doing that. In fact, give me a yes or no if you started a business based on something that you've seen on this platform, or you made some sort of economic move, or you found a way to make more money, or you made more money from stocks, or you made more money from your real estate. Put that in the chat. And that means a lot to me because it's very nice to know that the work I'm doing is actually making a difference in your life. I don't want to just be a person sitting on a big YouTube platform. I want to be a person that actually is able to give you something that's going to make your life better. Right. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to ignore the troll and just keep on going. Next, let's see. Number 12, 34% of Black business owners start their businesses because they want to be their own bosses. So 34%, that's very surprising. I figured that'd be higher than that. They said that 34% of Black business owners say being ready to be my own boss was the primary reason they started a business. Other top answers were a desire to pursue my passion, which was 29%, dissatisfaction with corporate America, 13%, and the opportunity presented itself was 10%. So I think I would lump in be my own boss, pursue my passion, and dissatisfaction with corporate America. I almost would lump them into one category because a lot of times that's how you feel. Because you're not your own boss, because you're not free, you can't pursue your passion, and you're unhappy with corporate America because they've taken away something that's very valuable to you. They took away your freedom. I mean, what can make you more pissed off than getting up every day and being told what to do and having somebody treat you like a child, right? And so ultimately, I would say that, that all those answers to me, they kind of lump together because when I hear people say they're ready to get off the corporate plantation, I hear a lot of dissatisfaction coming from Black people who just feel like this ain't right. Like life's not supposed to be this way. Like I'm not supposed to be in a position where I am begging another man to let me go to the bathroom, or I have to ask for permission to spend time with my own children. That's a lot like a plantation. Now, Brandon's saying, why can't you block this? You know what, Brandon? I'm going to deputize you and make you into a moderator. Can you help me block this person? I don't know what the hell's going on. It's the craziest thing because they keep coming in under new identities and they keep typing the N word. And then when I block them based on that one account, they pop up with another account. It's the craziest thing. So anyway, so let me see here. What I'm going to do is, you know what? I see JG. JG, I'm going to make you a moderator if I can do this real quick. Do me a favor, JG. Could you go and block this person, whoever this is? And John Thomas, I see your comment. It looks like you made this comment like 50 times. You need to read what's going on. Bro, I have been reading it. DDS is in here. Okay, so DDS, if you could help me try to get rid of that crazy troll. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this. All right. So anyway, let me keep going. 44% of Black business owners use cash to start their venture. So most Black business owners use their own money to fund their business. And that's a problem because most white businesses are not started with their own money. And so this is where, when you're talking about politics, if you want to know, if I sat down and had a meeting with Joe Biden right now, or a meeting with Kamala Harris right now, I would literally not have anything to say to them about what they consider to be the Black agenda. I would not even talk to them about what they falsely believe to be the Black agenda. What they believe the Black agenda is because I saw this. They were saying, oh, Joe Biden's going to address the black agenda. I was like, what's the black agenda for Joe Biden? Okay, the first part of the black agenda, which I actually can support this for sure, is dealing with the thing going on with the Haitians at the border. I think that's absolutely critically important. At least in my view, I think it's important for us to show respect to the Haitians. We see the racial disparity in immigration policy. I'm not a fan of just wide open borders, but at the same time, I think that we have to understand why Haiti is being treated the way that it is. So that part I can definitely align myself with. But then the second one, the other two were voting rights and police reform. Now, I'm not saying police reform shouldn't happen, but that's, to me, not the top agenda in the agenda item for Black people. I think the top agenda item for Black people is wealth. I think the number one issue that keeps you unequal from whites in terms of power and opportunity is the fact that they stole all your damn money and ain't giving it back. They stole all your economic power and ain't giving it back. They're not giving you access to economic power where you then have the ability to go create and manifest your own situations and create your own jobs. So that's the first part. And then the second thing, the other thing I would say is that whole issue of voting rights, I'm just going to tell you all the truth, man. That voting rights agenda, that is not a Black agenda. Voting rights is not a Black agenda. Voting rights is a white agenda. That is a white agenda. It is, how can we make sure these Negroes can keep voting so that we can stay in power and keep ignoring them, right? If we make sure Black people can keep showing up at the polls along with illegal immigrants and everybody else, then we can stay in power and keep doing what we want to do for the people that we care about, because we don't care about Black people, right? So if they tell me, or if they tell you at any point that voting rights is one of their top Black agendas, I'm not trying to tell you what to think or what to say. Do your own research, but I encourage you to say, no, that doesn't benefit me. That benefits you. That's like my wife saying, honey, I want you to get me a birthday present. And I say, what do you want? She says, I want a diamond ring. And then I say, well, no, actually, I got you a new vacuum cleaner so that you can vacuum the living room better and clean the house. And I got you some more pots and pans so you can cook me dinner, right? That's not me getting a gift for her. That's me getting a gift for myself and using her as a pawn for me to serve myself. So to some extent, politically, you are used as a pawn for them to serve themselves. And then they disguise it as the Black agenda, because there's a whole Black agenda out there that's been laid out there for them that they're completely ignoring. So, but they show up and say, well, we don't believe you when you tell us what you want. We're going to tell you what you want. Right. And that is a type of racism in itself. They call that paternalism. It is where they assume they are the parent, you're the child, that you're too stupid to know what you want. So so throw that voting rights thing off the table. Not to say that I don't care about it, that I think that's fine. But Dr. Claude Anderson makes it clear that voting means nothing if the people you vote for don't support you and serve you. All right, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. Also, my Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. And if you want to support the platform, you can we have a Patreon at intelligentblackpeople.com. I don't bring it up that much, but there it is. There's the Patreon. So feel free to become a patron of the platform. We're trying to build strong Black-owned media. Actually, we got a shout out from Tashina Arnold from Martin, which was pretty cool. I didn't even know she followed the platform, but she said this was one of her favorite Black-owned media. So that let me know that she's extra super duper Black. So shout out to Tashina Arnold, and God bless you. All right, so let's see here. How many people do Black-owned businesses employ? Black-owned businesses employ approximately 920,000 people. So of the 2 million Black-owned businesses in America, fewer than 125,000 have employees. So most Black-owned businesses are pretty much solopreneur situations. Most Black-owned businesses are situations where the business owner has pretty much bought their freedom and bought their job. Right, you own your job, so you're doing all the work, and you are the secretary, you are the CEO, you are the marketing manager, you are the primary employee that does everything, and so out of the 2 million Black-owned businesses, most of them, about 5% of that 2 million have one employee or more. So they employ about 920,000 people, and the total annual payroll is $23.9 billion. So that's one of the things that we have to do for the next generation, is to teach our kids how to scale. One of the things I have found is that you can actually grow your business faster if you learn how to scale, learn how to delegate, if you learn technology, and you learn structure and systems. So if you're training kids Stop having them go to school and waste their time learning stupid crap like, that George Washington had wooden teeth and how wonderful Abraham Lincoln was and all this other nonsense that they teach us. I think our kids need to go to school to learn the things that they need to know in order to be successful as a Black person. So starting with things like how to be a good husband and father. If you're a man of the house and you're heading your family, you need to know what the hell to do. You need to know what your responsibility is. You need to know how to raise them babies right, take care of that woman. If you're a woman, you need to learn how to, manage your situation with that man so your kids aren't growing up without a father. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing all the time. We're not making fun of people who are in that situation. But my God, if we don't learn how to keep our families together, we ain't never going to build nothing. You can't build wealth without family, people. So family is more important than anything you've ever learned in school. So family and relationships, extremely important. So anyway, with that said, though, the other thing too is that when you're talking about business, I'm not really interested in teaching Black kids how to just fill out job applications and have a nice resume. I think that should be learned after they learn systems and delegation, how to form a healthy relationship with a group of other Black people they can form businesses with. I remember when I was in college and I was asked to join every single fraternity on the campus. Every single Black fraternity sat me down and had a conversation with me about joining. I kid you not. I remember I had a friend that was Alpha. He spent a lot of time trying to recruit me for the Alphas. I said no. I had a friend that was a Sigma Gamma Rho or Delta Sigma. Was it Sigma Gamma Rho? Is that right? Or was that women? I can't. No, it was. Damn, Phi Beta Sigma. Phi Beta Sigma. I'm sorry. Sigma. My apologies to the Sigma Gamma Rhos. Phi Beta Sigma. His name was Daryl. He tried to recruit me for Phi Beta Sigma. I said, no, thank you. Kappa Alpha Psi. I had a friend that recruited me to be a Kappa. I was like, nah, man, I don't know. I don't want to learn how to twirl a cane. I don't care about that. But I like you. You guys are cool, but I don't want to do that. And then I had a friend that wanted me to be a Q, and I almost pledged Q. And then I realized that the Qs on my campus anyway, at that time, were a bunch of ridiculous assholes who drank too much and were having sex with nasty women and ruining their lives. And I just said, I don't think I want to be a part of that. No disrespect to the Qs, though. I'm sure many of you have grown into wonderful Omega men, but y'all know as well as I do, y'all got some raggedy ass Q dogs out here that ain't got no business sitting on stage humping each other and doing all that other crazy stuff, right? No disrespect, but it's true. Y'all know I'm not lying. All right, so here's the deal. So when I asked him, I said, okay, so wait a minute. So you're telling me that you want to put me through 6 weeks of hazing and you want to wake me up in the middle of the night so I can walk 3 miles to Taco Bell to pick up somebody's burrito and mess up my grades by not being ready for my test tomorrow. Why am I doing that? What's the benefit? I don't understand where this is a win for me, right? And then and by the way, you want me to pay you how much money? I got to give you what, $1,000 or $800 or whatever it is. You know that my parents don't send me money. I work for my money. I had two jobs in college, and I'm just like, where's my return on investment? It does not make sense. So why am I telling you this story? Well, here's why I'm bringing this up. Well, they told me that the reason that I should consider going Greek is because because of the networking. They said later on when you're looking for a job, you can find other people in your network who can help you get a job. And I have seen evidence of this. My brother and sister are both Greek, and they when jobs came up, job searches occurred, they could reach out to their fraternity brothers and sorority sisters and get opportunities, right? We're good at that. Like Black people are good at creating grapevines where we give each other the hookup and say, hey, my company's hiring in the such and such department, or I can put in a good word for you with my boss at the blah, 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 right? Which I think is cool. That's fine. That's great. But here's the other thing too. Here's how rich people network. The Skull and Bones Society, that secret organization that the Bushes belong to, the way they also network is they don't just network to get jobs. They network to create billion-dollar companies. Right, Silicon Valley. Did y'all know that there in the 1950s there were 7 white boys who were all engineers or something up in New York, and they all wanted to get off the corporate plantation. They hated their jobs, so they all went out to lunch one day, and they all agreed to go start a business out west. And they said one of them had a friend who was a banker that would give them some funding. So they all signed this napkin, making an agreement to go start this business out west. And they bought this land that was cheap land because nobody was using it. There was nothing there. And it was in this place that was eventually going to be called Silicon Valley. So they bought this land and they created a multi-billion-dollar tech company, which opened the door for the creation of Silicon Valley, which is probably worth several $1 trillion in total economic value. Because now the greatest tech companies on earth are in Silicon Valley. A large percentage of the world's wealth was generated in Silicon Valley. And it all started with 7 or 8 engineers who sat down at lunch and signed a napkin. Did y'all know that? So this is so my point, the reason I bring this story up to you is because networking isn't just about searching for the best job. Networking is also about creating jobs and creating opportunities for each other. So the same way those 7, 8 white boys got together and signed a napkin and created Silicon Valley, well, I'm looking for 7 or 8 brothers and sisters that get together at at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles or some vegan restaurant and all sign a napkin and go create the next $1 trillion black industry that's going to exist in some place where nobody even wants to buy the land. Right? This requires vision. Right? When they went and bought that property in Silicon Valley, it was cheap because there was nothing there. Now you can't buy property in Silicon Valley unless you are loaded because there's so much money there. Stanford University is right there in Silicon Valley, right? So, and in fact, they picked that land because it was close to Stanford and they figured they could get some good talent out of Stanford to come help them to build their tech company. I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it might have been Intel, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm speaking I'm speaking a little bit too much on that. But my point is to say that networking doesn't have to just be about trying to find a job. Networking can also be about forming organizations together. And you have to have that ability to get together with people you care about and literally go to a space where there's nothing and see the possibility of something. The greatest entrepreneurs in the world tend to be visionaries. They are people who are literally a little bit crazy. Why do the greatest entrepreneurs end up being crazy? Well, because technically, if you see things that aren't there, you are hallucinating. If you are hallucinating, that technically means you're crazy. That means you're seeing a vision that doesn't exist, and you say, look at that, or look at what we could do with all this land. And other people are like, what are you talking about? It's a crack house, or this is the hood, or this property is barren. There's nothing there, right? And the crazy person, the weirdo, the visionary is the one who says, oh my God, I see an amazing metropolis of what we could do. I see this gigantic black Wall Street. I see all these possibilities. So you need a few crazy people in your community who are crazy enough to see something that's not there and crazy enough to give their heart and soul to create that vision that isn't there. That's where your great entrepreneurs come from. And what you don't need around those individuals is you don't need those small-minded dream killers, those Negro naysayers, those people who find a problem with every solution, those people who always come to tell you because they love you that it ain't gonna work and you ain't got no money and you don't know what you're gonna do and what you talking about. What's wrong with you? That's crazy. You need to go get that good job at the post office. They paying $30 an hour down at the post office. Nobody want to hear that shit. Seriously, we need people that are gonna just rise above and beyond that. Right. So ultimately, at the end of the day, that's where the entrepreneurs come from. That's where the billion-dollar companies come from. You have to plant those seeds in your kids. You have to plant seeds of possibility to allow them to understand that, look, when you go through life, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to try things and it's not going to work. But we need millions of people trying stuff that isn't going to work so we can get those few thousand that are going to try something that is going to work. And what's going to happen is just like in venture capital, with a venture capitalist, what a lot of these venture capital firms do is they invest in 10 business ideas. 9 of them fail, but one of them becomes epically successful. And that one success makes up for all the failures, right? So you make so much money from the one success that it covers you for all the other 9 failures. But if you do not invest in the 9 failures, you won't get to the one success. You are never going to be in a business and be batting 1,000%. You're not. You're never going to play basketball and hit every goddamn shot. That's not how basketball's played. Even the best basketball players maybe shoot 55%. The best baseball players, hit 30-40% of the time that they get to, like, if they're hitting 40%, then they're one of the best in the whole Major League Baseball, or in all Major League Baseball. So when you talk about entrepreneurs, we need people that are willing to jump out there, go hard, and be willing to fail. Because somebody's going to succeed, somebody will be successful. So when you talk about the kids, educate them on systems, educate them on forming healthy relationships, educate them on getting together, networking properly with other people in their community so they can look at this big vision and find a way to make it real. Those are the people that are going to become the billionaires in the next generation. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Also, don't forget the All Black National Convention is happening at the end of October. We are looking for the visionaries and the intelligent people in the community that want to come out, that want to get smarter, the productive people that want to bring love into the building. So if you're in that category and you want to join us in Orlando at the end of October, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. You can see a list of all the people that we're going to have. We have a ton of people, from filmmakers to people that know how to grow your own food, to Maj Toure, who knows how to shoot guns, and the Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan, and Dr. Charm, and Vicky Dillard, and Nuri Muhammad, Riza Islam, and Lene Javette, a business specialist, Dr. Cleo Monago, Teddy Ewan, a crypto expert, state expert, Jade Arundel, Linus Crown. We got a long list of people. That's not even the beginning of all the people that are going to be there. So anyway, all right, so let me keep reading down this list. And thank you, DDS, for killing the trolls. It looks like the trolls gone. Thank God. It's kind of insane. All right. All right. So let's see here. Also, just 7% of Black-owned employer firms have 6 to 10 employees compared to the national average of 12%. So 7% of Black-owned firms have 6 to 10 employees. Let's see here. So Black-owned employer firms tend to have fewer employees than the national average. According to American Express research, 38% have 2 to 5 employees, while just 7 to 10% have 6 to 10 employees. The overall averages are 41% employ 2 to 5 people and 12% employ 6 to 10 people. Okay. The challenges for Black business owners. Black business owners receive less financing, less often, and at higher rates. The racial funding gap is real. Federal Reserve numbers show that 80.2% of white business owners receive at least a percentage of the funding they request from a bank. 80%. So let's stop there. 80% of white. Okay. Only 66.4% of Black, Indigenous, and people of color business owners can say the same. When Black, Indigenous, people of color own firms get funding, the amount tends to be $30,000 less than comparable white-owned businesses, while their interest rates are about 1.4% higher. So the barriers are greater in numerous ways. Next, 37.9% of Black business owners say they are discouraged from applying for loans. The primary reason many Black business owners don't apply for loans is because they believe they will be turned down even if they applied. Just 12.7% of white business owners feel that way. Interesting. Okay. The average level of startup capital for Black entrepreneurs is just $35,205. On the other hand, white entrepreneurs report an average of $106,720 in startup capital. The margin failure is razor thin for Black entrepreneurs. That is true. That's why we created the Black Business School, because we realized a long time ago that there are dynamics in the creation of a Black-owned business that doesn't exist for white-owned businesses. So when you go to a white university and they teach you how to start a business, they give you a lot of rules and approaches that just don't work for people like us. So we only work with Black business experts who actually understand what it's like to be Black and to create a business in a world where you're not getting the support that you have. You don't necessarily have the know-how that you need. You're not getting the financial backing that you need. You're also dealing with discrimination. Black people discriminate against Black-owned businesses. We know white people boycott Black-owned businesses, but even a lot of Black people boycott Black-owned businesses. So you're dealing with a niche on top of a niche. So it becomes kind of difficult to be a Black business owner for a lot of people. So you have to really know what your dynamics are, and you have to take your risk in a different way. All right. So next, just 1% of Black business owners obtain business loans in their first year. Comparably, 7% of white business owners get loans in their first year. Let's see. Also, credit cards. 30% of white business owners can get credit cards. 15% of Black business owners. 18% of white business owners can get personal loans. 14% of Black business owners. And family loans. 9% of white business owners and 14% of Black business owners. So Black business owners get family loans more. That's really interesting. Next, only 18% of Black business owners report receiving assistance from loan officers in completing applications. Okay. All right. So they said, let's see here. It's an issue that 59% of white business owners report receiving help from loan officers, while less than 1/5 of Black business owners do. So there are some disparities out there, some challenges. I would encourage you not to get too discouraged by any of this, though, because I don't think you necessarily benefit very much as a Black person when you're constantly comparing yourself to white people. White people are not magical. They are not the gold standard. And so when people talk about gaps and how we can achieve equality, those conversations bore me, because I'm not really trying to be equal to anybody. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So what I would say to you is stop worrying about what everybody else has got. Sure, you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Yeah, it's not fair that you got, a cousin that tried to stab you last Christmas. It's not fair that your daddy wasn't there when you were growing up. My daddy wasn't either. But you work with what you got, and if you talk about it from an optimism standpoint, black people have 1.4 trillion in spending power. Did you know that if I were to rank countries by GDP, that most countries do not have 1.4 trillion in gross domestic product? Let me see ranking. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button while I do that. If you could, thumbs up, share, subscribe button. And also, by the way, you can get a free copy of my book if you go to boycewatkins.com or allblackeconomics.com, either one. I have a book called It Takes a Village to Raise a Bar. You can feel free to take a look. It's totally free. Allblackeconomics.com. All right, so the rankings, let me give you the rankings of countries based on GDP. Now remember, black people have 1.4 trillion in spending power, right? So let's rank countries by gross domestic product. So the United States is at the top of the list with 20.4 trillion. China's number 2 with 13.4 trillion, which is why the United States is still way ahead of China, by the way, in GDP. They have a country that's 4 times bigger than ours, and their GDP is still less than ours. So we're still doing pretty well economically compared to the rest of the world. Japan, 4.97 trillion, and then you go down to number 10, which is Canada with 1.71 trillion. Now remember, black people have 1.4 trillion in spending power. So our total spending power is only slightly behind Canada's GDP. That's a lot to work with. I mean, give me a yes or no if you follow what I'm saying. Like, that's pretty dope. Like, that's pretty extraordinary. In fact, let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at here, because I want you to really, stop thinking about your limitations and start thinking about your possibilities. Stop thinking about ways God didn't bless you and realize that in some ways you were blessed. You have opportunities. Stop acting like you can't do nothing because you're black. Being black is not the same as having a goddamn disability. Get out of that mindset. So here's what so here you see you get down to number 10, you got Russia at 1.5 trillion. So our 1.4 trillion in spending power is slightly lower than the GDP of Russia. South Korea, 1.5 trillion. We beat Australia. We got Australia beat. Here's some other countries we beat. We are black spending power. Pay attention now. I need y'all to go tell your friends, because some of y'all got Negro naysayer friends who just want to destroy every dream, every vision they see. Anything positive in black, they hate it, right? Because they believe black people can't do nothing by ourselves. We can't do nothing without white people. These are the ultimate white supremacists, because they believe that we can't do anything without white people, like we're children. So I want you to read this to the Negro naysayer. In fact, you can clip this video, send them this part of the video. We have in our black spending power every year $1.4 trillion, which is higher than the GDP of Australia, Spain, Mexico, Indonesia, Turkey, the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, Argentina, Sweden, Poland, Belgium, Thailand, Iran, Austria, Norway, United Arab Emirates, Nigeria, Israel, South Africa, Hong Kong, Ireland, Denmark, Singapore, Malaysia, Colombia, the Philippines, Pakistan, Chile, Finland, Bangladesh, Egypt, Vietnam, Portugal, Czech Republic, Romania, Peru, New Zealand, Greece, Iraq, Algeria, Qatar, Kazakhstan, Hungary, Angola, Kuwait, Sudan, Ukraine. Do I need to keep going for you to get my point? Tell me that you get the point so I can stop reading this list, because I can keep going. Let me see. I got about another 200 countries to go. 200. So tell me if you get my point. Do y'all understand? Do you understand how wealthy black people are? Do we get this? Do we understand that? Do you understand that you're like the shortest guy on an NBA team, right? If you're the shortest guy on an NBA team, that does not make you a midget. Just because I'm the shortest guy on the LA Lakers, that doesn't mean I'm a midget. Stop comparing yourself to midgets. Stop thinking like a goddamn midget. You're not a midget. You're 6'2". I mean, it'd be nice to be 7 feet tall for sure, but you're 6'2". Most people never get to be 6'2". So one of the most debilitating things that I see on a regular basis, and sometimes you see well-intended black people doing this, but as a person who knows finance pretty well, I'm going to go ahead and challenge some of that, is you constantly see this woe is me mindset where we feel sorry for ourselves because we don't have as much money as white people. Well, the problem is that white people in America are the richest people on the planet. I mean, $20 trillion in GDP, that's insane. That's insane. Our per capita GDP in the United States is like 4 times higher than China. And China is a powerhouse. China's moving things. So start believing and start working with what you got. Stop sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. The website I just went to is worldometers.info. Worldometers.info. That's the website I got that information from. So when it comes to building black-owned businesses, what you're missing is not just capital. Like, sure, capital can help you, but what you're also missing is vision. You don't have the vision. Your vision is you got what's that word? Tunnel vision on getting a job. If all I do is tell you as a kid that your goal is to get a job working for the nicest white man you can find a white man who won't beat you half to death and won't call you the N-word, and serve him for the rest of your life. If that's the only vision I ever give you, then how the hell are you going to become whatever God intended for you to be? You're ignoring all the potential that you have because somebody gave you a limited vision when you were young because they were limited. Somebody limited them and you stuck with that vision. So first thing you got to do is bust outside of yourself. Your biggest adversary is not white people. I'm sorry that I know people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I don't believe your biggest adversary is white people. I believe your biggest adversary is you. You. And then your next biggest adversary might be the Negro next to you, who's also limited in their thinking. Because when a black person is really determined to get something done, I don't believe white people can stop him. I think, don't get me wrong, we have things that happen, police shootings, that's real, sure. But I know a lot of black people out here that are getting it done, making it happen, destroying the game and killing it. And, and ain't no white man stopping you from picking up a goddamn book. There's no white man that's telling you that you can't go fill out the form for an LLC. Right. So the website was Worldometers, WORLD ometers.info. And all I did was did a search of ranking of countries by GDP. So that's how I found it. So if you want to go look at the data, you can go find it that way. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. And also some of you who are in the book club are looking for the recordings of all the lectures that I've done. I'm breaking down Dr. Claude Anderson's books brick by brick every single week, Wednesday night at 8:30. And so if you want to see all the recordings, you can actually go to thedrboycebookclub.com. The URL is right there on the screen. Let me see. Yeah, the drboycebookclub.com. And you can actually take a look and feel free to go there. And you can, and if that's something that will help you, feel free to go to. I'm sorry. It's the Dr. Boyce Book Club, not the Dr. Boyce Book Club. Excuse me. So take out the THE. Take out the THE. All right. So now with that said, the last thing I'll say to you guys is that, when you're talking about preparing your kids for the future, I really think it's very important that we revamp the way our kids are educated. I'm personally tired of our kids learning, going to school and learn a bunch of nonsense, which ultimately comes an indoctrination process. They're being indoctrinated to accept a bunch of ideas that are not always in alignment with our culture. And I'm really fascinated by how a kid can go to school, damn near 8 hours a day. And so they go to school with about 20,000 hours or something. And in that 20,000 hours, they somehow know all this other stuff about, what pronoun to use and all these other weird ideas, but they don't even know how to read or write or do math. And I'm sitting there thinking, how can a kid be in a building for 20,000 hours and learn and not even know how to read, write, or do math? If those kids were in a building with me for just 500 hours, they would come out knowing more about business and economics than 90% of the population. So how is it that you have our kids for 20,000 hours and they're learning absolutely nothing? So what you got to understand, Black people, is that this society is destroying your children. Your children are your multi-trillion-dollar power play. They are your multi-trillion-dollar asset. So when people talk about the loss of Black wealth, you got to go deeper than just thinking about Black spending power. Yeah, we throw our money away. Sure, the rappers will tell you in a minute, that you want to take your welfare check and go buy a Gucci belt and all this other silly stuff. But really, where they're really raping you financially is they're stealing your kids. What more valuable asset does a human being have than their own children? What asset do you have that's more valuable than your kids? They're stealing the minds of your children. They're putting them in a system of indoctrination and training them to be little white supremacists. And they grow up wanting to be closer to white folks and wanting to work for white folks and wanting to go to college and give all their wealth, all the family wealth away to a big white university. Like I'm sitting here right now across the street from Johns Hopkins University. And when I look at Johns Hopkins University, let me just do a Google search real quick. Let me tell you a little bit about Johns Hopkins. My sister did a residency at Johns Hopkins Hospital, and we were real excited about that back in the day. But let me tell you, Johns Hopkins University has an endowment of $8.8 billion, an $8.8 billion endowment. Johns Hopkins University is also, if you know, largely responsible for stealing the cells from Henrietta Lacks. Anybody know? Give me a yes or no if you know the Henrietta Lacks story. So my wife teaches that. She's a social work. She's a full professor of social work. She talks about Henrietta Lacks and how they just stole her cells without her permission, and they have made billions of dollars. Her cells, the Gila, I think they call them Gila cells. They literally have spawned a multi-billion-dollar industry because the cells somehow they just keep replicating and they don't die or something insane, something crazy. Again, like black girl magic to the 10th power. Like literally she's eternal, immortal. I mean, you talk about goddess. I mean, that's literally like in real life, right? And they have made billions of dollars from her cells. And all the while, Henrietta Lacks' family is in abject poverty. And I'm sitting here looking across the street at Johns Hopkins University in this, $300 million building and this $8.8 billion endowment. And they literally built all this wealth off of the cells from Henrietta Lacks, or a big chunk of that wealth, right? So they're stealing wealth from you in more ways than you can count. It ain't just, like getting you to go spend your money on Gucci belts. It's deeper than that. They're stealing your people. They're stealing your children. They're stealing, they're stealing your brains. Like, they're taking your labor. They're taking your time and energy. They're taking your human capital. So you got to think about this. When you talk about all this, if you recapture all that black wealth that's being stolen from you, starting by, for example, educating your children and making sure that they're trained to have the skills necessary to be beneficial members of the black community, that right there is a multi-trillion-dollar power play. Just literally reclaiming the brains of our kids would probably do more to close the racial wealth gap than any reparations check that an asshole like Joe Biden is ever going to write. Joe Biden in Congress will never write a reparations check big enough to cover for the fact that they have been consistently stealing the mind, energy, and labor of your children. So think bigger than that. Stop focusing on the tiny stuff. Focus on the big picture. That's how you win. All right, guys, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button, and also if you want to join the live book club, actually, and just kind of join us on Wednesday nights, you can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. That also gives you access to my life class. If you want, Uncle Boyce advice on how to be successful, stuff like that. I literally broke down the rules of success and put that in a curriculum, and I made it free. So if you'd like to go join, it's in the Black Business School at blackkeystogreatness.com. And then also you'll get an invitation to our Wednesday night book club. We're reading Black Labor, White Wealth. So we're studying the history and we're dissecting the dead body. We are doing an autopsy on Black wealth and what happened and why they owe you money and how they stole it. Specifically, we're deconstructing it so that we can reconstruct it into something better. That is how we're going to win. We're going to win because we are smarter than them. We are harder working than them. We are braver than them, and can't stop, won't stop. So let's just keep it moving. So God bless you guys. Hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. Please share this video if you could. I would appreciate it. And I hope you guys will consider coming to the All Black National Convention down in Orlando, allblacknationalconvention.com. It's going to be excellent. I'm super excited this year. Every year we get better at this stuff. And I guarantee you, give me 40, 50 years. We are on the foundational building and development of a multi-billion-dollar empire. It's just not going to all happen in our generation. It'll probably happen about 50 years from now. So God bless you guys. Have a good night. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.